Male privilege. The most common feminist talking point. Well, next to the patriarchy anyway, which, surprise surprise, is the direct cause of male privilege. Now, do I believe male privilege exists? Yes, I do believe male privilege exists. In the same way that female privilege is also very much a thing. And a lot of feminists like to deny this. They like to deny that there are certain areas in life in which being a female gives you certain privileges that being a male won't get you. A lot of the time, they just love to play the victim card and also tell people to check their privilege but never actually acknowledge their own. I mean, it's not surprising since so many of them hate men, but you know, what can you do, right? Like, there are so many areas of life where being a girl will literally get you through so much easier than if you were a guy. Now, with that said, am I saying that men have it harder than women? No, I'm not saying that. Like, if you compare the two advantages of the two, I think you'd still come up with women having more hardships than men do. Like, I think anyway. But to act like they're the victims 24/7, like 100% of the time, I don't know about that one, dog. So with that said, what is the purpose of this video? Well, you see, speaking of privilege, there is one specific group of people who gets the absolute privilege of seeing the world from both sides that most of us will never get to experience. That's right, we're talking about the transgenders, the people who are born with vaginas and experience the world from a female perspective and then transition into men and then gain the privilege that people with penises all have. They get to experience the good parts and the bad parts of both sides and tell us all about it. But with that said, at the end of the day, a lot of these trans men are still feminists and they still use the same talking points. So today we're going to be taking a look at a quite interesting, video I found on the wonderful platform known as TikTok. So without further ado, let's get it. Roll the clip.
I started my transition about 5 years ago. Here are some of the social changes I've noticed. People don't talk over me. People listen to me. I'm funnier for absolutely no reason.
Okay, so for that one, I mean, I can't really speak on that. That's more of his personal experience. There's nothing I can really say to that. It's like, if we're being 100% like unbiased with it, you could say that you could attribute those changes to a number of different things. For example, maybe the fact that you have more testosterone in your system has actually made you more assertive of a person, so people don't actually talk over you. Or it could be the fact that maybe in the past 5 years you have changed as a person in terms of your personality, and so maybe you actually have gotten funnier or changed your social tendencies in a way that the world has reacted in a certain way that, is more positive to you. Like, maybe you just grew, And this is why in science experiments you have to have a controlled variable, meaning that there has to be a factor that you keep the same while you're adjusting a different factor, so that if there are results, you can actually attribute it to the factor that you actually changed. And if you didn't understand that, an analogy would be like if you were growing two plants, right? You wanted to test if putting a plant in the sun would make it grow faster. You'd have to take two plants, feed them the exact same amount of food, give them the exact same amount of water, but then give them different amounts of sunlight, so that if there's a difference in growth, you know that all the other factors were the same. The only thing that was different is the sunlight, so it must be because of the sunlight. Because if you don't make them all the same, it could have been because of the water or the food, and you'll never actually know which one it was. You'll just be assuming at that point. And that's what this person is not doing here, mainly because it's kind of impossible. If you could wake up one day as a girl, be the exact same person you are, and then experience a certain type of life, then do the same thing as a guy the next day, be the exact same type of person you are, the only difference being your gender, and then observe the differences, then you could attribute it to gender. But this person has gone through a 5-year change. Do you know how much could have changed in 5 years, bro? Like, he is probably a completely different person on the inside than he was back then. So we have no idea of finding out why he was funnier or less interrupted. I'm not saying his hypothesis that it may be because of his gender is 100% invalid. I'm just simply saying he doesn't have evidence to suggest that that is the absolute 100% reason why these things were happening. Now, as I said, it's his personal experience. Whether it was due to his gender or not, who knows? Could be. But I'm just throwing out some, other possible reasons as to what could have happened. Because the thing I don't like with feminists is that instead of actually looking at all the possible reasons for certain things, they just default to misogyny as the default reason for everything. For example, the wage gap,
I have been hit on as a woman and as a man, and I can tell you that men respect other men more than they respect other women.
Hit on by who? I've been hit on by men and women, and I can tell you that men respect other men more than they respect women. Who were you getting hit on by? Gay dudes? If you're talking about transitioning to a guy and then gay dudes are hitting on you, how exactly are you supposed to compare that to the average man having no respect for women? Like, I would think that a heterosexual man approaching a woman is going to be somewhat different than a gay man approaching a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would think those are two different types of dynamics, like, you know? So that just seems like a false comparison to make, like, or plot twist, he's talking about himself, because he did say men respect other men more than they respect other women. So what if he was saying that when he was a woman, he respected men more than he respected other women? Like, he's saying that as a man now, he now respects men more than other women, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro.
I dated a woman who had 2 kids, and in the start of her relationship, she said, you know, I have never once been afraid to leave you alone with my kids. Think about that.
Okay, so how exactly is that a privilege, though? Like, am I missing something? Like, first you said you dated a woman and she said she was not afraid to leave you alone with her kids. I presume because you're trans and not a biological male. So, well, first of all, she's actually justified in not wanting to leave her kids alone with a, you know, a biological male, because at the end of the day, it's like, even though most men are not rapists, you don't know who to trust, right? So it's like, but it's not even just men, like grown women as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know who's a pedophile at the end of the day. So, I mean, to be very honest with you, even her leaving her kids alone with you, it's kind of irresponsible, like, unless she like knows you really, really well. But even that, like, so while editing, I kind of realized that he actually said she said that to him at the start of their relationship, not like, it wasn't like it was way down when she like she knew him extremely well. Now, could she have known him well before they started the relationship? Yes, that's also a possibility, but I just thought that was worth noting. You know what I'm saying? Like, even at the end of the day, a lot of sexual assaults, I think most of them actually come from people that you know and trust. So it's like, even that's kind of, you know, but yeah, like, y'all get what I'm saying though. I don't really think that means anything though, because like, it's not really adding any new information to the table. Like, the woman is saying that she'd be afraid to leave her kids alone with a man because most rapists are men, right? So it's like, everybody knows this though. That's not really new information, you know what I'm saying? Like like, yeah. But as I said before, how is that a privilege? Like, your gender is getting demonized, bro. Like, how is that a privilege in any way?
I've been in social settings where I've felt comfortable enough to tell a group of women that I'm trans, and I watch them all visibly relax. When
you said that you told a group of women you were trans and they all visibly relaxed. Again, how is that a privilege? How is it a privilege to be feared everywhere you go just for being a man? That's not privilege, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that privilege? And then you see the feminist on the left just being like, male privilege, yep, male privilege, feminist propaganda, feminist ideology. Like, bro, like, nigga, like, just think about it for a quick second before you post, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I pass women in the hall and I make eye contact with them, I notice they always look down, because God forbid you make eye contact with a man for too long and they get the wrong idea.
Again, how is this a privilege? How is that a privilege? You can't even make eye contact without people being afraid of you. How is that a privilege? But anyways, looking right past that, again, how do you know that it's specifically because of the fact that, you know, man equals bad that's happening? Like, I don't know about you, bro, but last time I checked, people in general break eye contact with strangers. Like, if you look at somebody for too long, or even just like a couple seconds, they'll usually look away, because that's just kind of awkward, you know? Like, I don't really think you making the assumption that it's because she doesn't want you to get the wrong idea is like useful in any way, because again, it's purely assumptive. People could have broken eye contact with you for literally any reason, bro. Any reason. And on that note, it could very well be just the fact that you're the opposite sex, in the sense that I would think people usually are more comfortable around their own gender. I know there are a lot of guys who would not care about making eye contact with another man, but if it's a girl, then they're like, then it's a bit different. They get more uncomfortable. I'm not saying they're like scared of girls or whatever, but like, just the fact that it's the opposite sex, your behavior is going to be slightly different, you know? So it's like, yeah, maybe you have a point with the whole, oh, don't make him get the wrong idea thing, but there's no evidence to back this up. You just made that up. It could have been for a number of reasons. And again, the feminist is on the side like, yes, male privilege, facts, bro, facts. Like, bro. And then the comments are all just in such agreement. Just like, you know, like, people just eat this stuff up, dog. Like, honestly.
I'm no longer verbally abused when I play video games online. Just fucking do better. Also,
okay, time out. This is where we draw the line. I would like to know which Rainbows and Sunshine video games you're playing where you don't get verbally abused just because you have a dick. Like, I don't know about you, but most of the verbal abuse that goes on online is between men. Have you ever heard any conversations in any video game of two people who are raging at each other? Have you been in a COD lobby before, bro? Have you been in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, bro? Have you even been on a Minecraft PvP server, bro? Like, listen, back in my gamer days, dog, I was a hardcore gamer for a long time. During this space of time, I was called literally every single insult you could imagine. I was called a nigger, a fag. I was told to kill myself, slit my wrists, drink bleach, to go back to the cotton field. I was insulted in literally every way you could think possible, bro. And that's pretty much how it is for every gamer, or at least the hardcore ones. So again, I would like to know which fantasy world you're living in, where the only people who get abused are women. And if we're actually going to be technical about it, like very technical about it, girls who play video games, in my opinion, are at a somewhat of an advantage to men, because literally any girl who plays games and is moderately attractive, all she has to do is start a Twitch account and the simps will come flooding in with the bans. We all know this. Pokimane, Alinity, all of them girls, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Side note, gay men, please stop demonizing vaginas.
Damn, I thought gay men were like the most like feminist, you know, one of the girls type of people ever, you know, like that's what I thought. That's what I've always seen, so, you know. But hey, I'm not gay, so I wouldn't know, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah. Honestly, I don't disagree with feminists on everything. That's just not the case. But my main thing to say to them is, yo, not everything is because of misogyny, bro. There are actual legitimate reasons for some of the issues that y'all complain about. Sometimes it just takes a bit of critical thinking and extra research to find out that the cause is not always because I'm a woman. Just like the cause of certain issues, it's not always, oh, it's because I'm black, isn't it? It's like, no, bro, it's not always because you're black. Sometimes there are actual reasons for things happening, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, with that said, hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, join the army of feminists probably disliking it and slap the dislike button yourself, because that's your true opinion and you shouldn't hide it from me. But of course, if you did enjoy the video, remember to obliterate it, punch it in the face till it turns blue like your name is Chris Breezy, and of course drop a sub to the channel, punch the subscribe button till it turns gray in the face, beat the blood out of it, make the red disappear, beat it up, yeah, okay, bye. Anyways, it's been your boy John, and you are now leaving my mind.